It's strange, these signals we get from our loved ones from the other side. I'm at the moment at Ataturk Memorial in the south coast, Wellington, New Zealand, where the Turkish government brought some soil to New Zealand and placed it at the memorial up on the hill behind me, from the land where our sons and daughters possibly passed in the Second World War. And a notice to say that their souls and their boys are looked after. So one day I'll be able to do videos and not cry. I don't know how soon that'll be, but Sacha passed in India, and I couldn't work out why she wanted me to come here. We had a friend of hers staying a while ago, and I had the idea that I could drop her off at this walk and she could walk around the south coast and walk home, because it's a lovely walk in the bush as well as by the water. But that wasn't really why I needed to be here. When I tuned into the meditation after tuning into the memorial and to why the memorial was there and the people that are in Turkey, and then getting the connection between Sacha dying in India and not here, like our loved ones that passed in another country. I was lucky enough, it's a different time from the war to now, I was lucky enough to be on the phone with Sacha, even though I still didn't get to say all the things that I wanted to say. All I could do, because she was in so much pain, was do light language. And I know that's what her spirit and soul needed, but there's so much I should have said, and I wished I did. But I can't get that back. I can only trust that Serafina told Sacha what it was, and that it gave her the respite to fall asleep, which she did. But moving on to this area of Wellington, Ataturk Memorial. When I was sitting at the fence around the paving, my dragons came in and they settled. They all just swarmed in, so many of them, and there was a few that I knew but so many that I didn't, and they sat down in front of me like a teacher talking to her students. And when you're doing transmissions, it takes, or signals and signs from other dimensions, it takes you a while to pick up on what the actual meaning is, and it's never really what you think it is, because your ego is trying to figure it out. So that's quite likely not right. it's got to be your heart. It's got to be in your body, in your spirit. That is more than your mind figuring these things out. And then the transmission went to Turkey and the land, and their souls had left their bodies and they were wandering. They were just wandering, lost. And Sacha was really lucky she has Natasha, and we were lucky with a friend of ours. She works as a travel agent, so she managed to get us all flights. And she did a lot of work to get us there. We couldn't fly together, but we got there and we had 12 hours or so with Sacha. But these boys didn't have their mums. They may have had their fathers or their brothers or their cousins or relatives or mates. I saw the souls leaving the body and just walking. Not things happen so suddenly. They don't always realise their past, and they're wandering, lost. And my dragons, the dragons, that was their role. Sacha was telling me to come here so these dragons could go there in this dimension of wherever the souls were and take them to where they needed to be home. So the dragons left and then it was the transmission for me. My part of the transmission was over. It was just the connection of dragons to these souls and to get them connected so that then these lost loved ones in Turkey could go home. And now that's the dragons are taking care of that. I had a brief moment of recognition. Oh, that's right. Years ago, Bruce would always go to the Anzac Day Memorial here in Wellington. And of course, then Sacha joining the cadets, she was doing Anzac Day for the cadets. And there was one year we all went, Natasha and Sacha, Bruce and I, and we came to this memorial and we walked up the pathway, got here early enough to get some sort of seat on the grass beside the memorial. And I remember Sacha sitting beside me. She was, I don't know how old she would have been, about 10 or 11. She kept laughing at me because I was crying, but also just the joy that we were together, that because quite often one of us would not want to do what the others are doing, so there would always be one of us left behind, or we had to stay behind because we have Betsy, and Betsy can't go to all the places that we travel, but this time we were all together. And so as I was sitting there in transmission, I could feel her walking up behind me and playing around on the grass where we were seated, and that was really lovely. And then I walked up the hillside behind. It was just a little hill to the bank, and then on the other side of the bank is a cliff face, and you can look down over the ocean. And quite often, if there's a warning sign, do not go beyond this point, Sacha will always go beyond this point. And quite often you can see, because you're looking down into the ocean, you can see whales or dolphins or orcas in the bay and in the coast. It was beautiful. I finally got here. It's been a few weeks. She's been telling me to come to this memorial. And now I know why, because she knows what it's like to die somewhere else. But she also knows that her spirit had Natasha to take her to the afterlife and guide her. That's not always the way for people who pass on foreign soil. So my dragons came in and did it, and it's not my role to then continue with the journey. My role was just connecting them all up, and now they were off. So anyway, that's my little brief moment of realization. My girl. Anyway, talk to you soon. Bye.